Now arrays are defined as a collection of variables of the same type that are stored in a contiguous memory location. They are static data structures, meaning that their size must be defined at the time of declaration. Okay, arrays are accessed using zero-based index, which starts from 0 and ends at size -1. So what you're going to do, you're going to create a Java project. We'll give it a name, maybe intro arrays, and then you click on next and then finish. Now inside the source, we'll create a package to contain all our classes, and you can give this package any name you want. In this case, I'll call it com.douglas, then finish. Now inside this package, you're going to create a first class, and again, you can give this class any name we want. Maybe you can call it test. Remember, classes start with capital letter. Test array, we'll click on public static void, we check it and click on finish. Okay, now when you're talking about arrays, one of the most important thing about arrays is they store multiple values in a single variable. Okay, and it's an efficient way to access elements based on index. And there are two types of arrays. We have single dimension 1D and multi-dimensional arrays. They are comprising of 2D and 3D. Now, one dimensional arrays are used for simple lists, whereas multi-dimensional arrays are used for matrices or grid. So what you're going to first look at is how to declare arrays. Maybe I can say array declarations. So one way of declaring arrays, you can declare an array without assigning it. Okay. So what you have done here, you have just declared an array, and you can assign this array. This. You can assign it any value down the line. Okay. But actually, before you do that, after declaring an array, you can come down here. You call back that variable, maybe numbers in this case, and then you can say equal new int3. We provide the size of the array and you terminate. So here what you have done, you have declared the array's numbers, and then you have provided the size of the array, which is 3. Okay. Now if you don't assign values to a particular array, it always defaults to 0. Default values will be 0. Okay. And what do I mean by that? The elements inside a particular array will be 0 in case you don't specify them. Okay, so in case you are to print this array, it will show 0 values. Okay, they'll be like this 0 0 0 because you didn't assign any to them. Okay, so also you can also declare and initialize it at once. Array declaration and assignment. So how can you do that? You can say int, the same will say numbers 1. Okay, int numbers 1. So here we can pass in like 10, 20, 30. Okay, so here what you have done, you have declared and assigned an array at once. Yeah, you can even use it with double. Maybe you can say double. It's not a must that you use it with int. Double. You give it a name, maybe prices. So in here, maybe you can pass in any values you want, maybe 100, 200, 300, okay, as many as you want, okay. So this is how at least we can declare and assign arrays. Yeah, by assigning we mean giving them values, okay. So in case you want to access any of the values above, uh, so one of accessing arrays, say system. In here, maybe you can pass the first pass a string. You can say maybe first element. It doesn't matter. You can add anything you want. Here we can concatenate it with a particular array we want to call back, and also its index. Maybe you can say numbers 1. Then inside the square brace, we might pass in 0 as our index. At least we're meaning that we want to access the array at index 0. So if I'm to run this, yeah, I hope you can see it clearly, but it says the first element is 10. So if you have to go back to numbers here, numbers 1, if you have to look at the very first element, it's 10. Okay, now since 10 is best, it is at index 0, it's the one we'll call back. In case I'm to pass any other value here, maybe 1, and then I run, of course the value is going to change to 20. Okay, so that's how you can access arrays. Now in case you want to modify an existing array, in case you want to modify an existing array, you of course first call it back. Let's say numbers 1, and then inside numbers 1, maybe you pass the index. At least I want to modify an index 0, an index at an element at index 0 in numbers 1, and then you want to change its value, let's say to 100, and then you terminate. So what you do is just go back this line to see if changes took place. So here we'll pass 0. We'll see how will 0 be like, because we have modified it. Previously it was 10. Let me minimize. So maybe let me first remove this. First comment out this so that you see it clearly. Yeah. Previously, the element at index 0 was 10. Okay, but now we modified it below here to 100, and now in case you're printing it, we are printing that line again, it will show you 100 this time around, because you have updated it, you have modified that array at that index, the element at that index. So yeah, that's one way of modifying an array. Okay, you just come and assign a value to it, but you have to specify the index of the particular elements you want to change. Yeah. Okay, in case you want to check the length of your array, let me say checking length, checking length of, so in case you want to check the length, copy this line, so in this case I'll just use the dot to access length. Okay, and that's it. So in case I'm to, maybe I change this to length, Yeah, so if you are to see, the length of an array is 3. Okay, so in case you want to check the length of your array, yeah, you can use this keyword length. Yeah, you use it with the okay. Once you access the particular variable or array you want to check, you just use the dot operator and then you'll access length, and then that's how you can check for the length of your array. Okay, so in case you want to loop, let's say you want to loop through your array, looping through. So in case you want to loop through an array, let's use a for loop. We see how we can go about it. So in here, of course, as you know, you pass int I equals to 0. Okay, you terminate. Then maybe you say I maybe less than maybe numbers 1. Okay, I less than numbers 1 dot length. And then once you press that dot, you get a, then you have to use length here. Okay, and then of course you terminate, and then you continue I plus plus. Okay, now within the curly brace, we'll copy this line again. So let's put in here. Now within the curly brace, I can just pass maybe just passing I. Okay, now if I'm to run this, I think I should mute out the rest or comment them out. Okay, that's okay. So if I'm to run this, what you're doing is you are looping through a particular array, in this case numbers 1. Now keep in mind, however much you have 10, remember we modified it. Later on with 100. That's why you're seeing 100, 20, and then 30. So that's one way of looping through an array. Okay, using the for loop. So once you use the for loop, uh, you can easily loop through any given array, and that's how we can do it. Aside from looping through, we can also sort arrays. And before even sorting arrays, we need to import a particular uh, package for that in case we want to sort or do any other important array operations. We have to import this Java package, and to do that, you can type import java .util .java.util.arrays. Okay, and once you import this, this is required for sort and array. Array, you know, when you want to use a .toString method, it's important you have to import this java.util.arrays. Okay, yeah, because down the line here, let's say if you want to sort an array, this package will come in handy. Okay, maybe let's say sorting arrays. Yeah, so in case you're setting an array, let's create a new array. Maybe we can say int. And call it unsorted array. Unsorted array. Uh, then assign any values that I want to it. And I won't follow. Maybe I will say 10, maybe 5. 1, maybe 9, yeah, something like this. Okay, yeah. So in case I want to sort the arrays you're seeing above here, okay, I will have to use the package I imported, and one way of doing that, I have to say arrays dot, and then once I press the dot, I have to look for sort, because it's the method that's going to help me sort, okay, my unsorted arrays. So inside the parentheses, I have to pass in the particular array I want to sort. In this case, unsorted, because I want to sort unsorted arrays. So one way of doing it, I will have to say arrays dot sort, and then inside the parentheses, I have to pass in the particular array I want to sort, yeah, which is unsorted array. Okay. After doing that, I can print out to the screen and see if it worked out, and I can do that by saying system. And maybe before we do this, shift. Okay. So maybe I can add an escape sequence, and then maybe I can call this sorted arrays. Something like this, sorted arrays, and maybe I can concatenate it to this line actually. Remove this. So after that, I concatenate it. Uh, arrays dot to string, because I'm going to look for the toString method. The toString, okay, inside the parenthesis here, what you're going to do, again, you're going to pass in a particular array we want to sort, which is this. Okay. I hope you can see clearly. So what you're doing here, we want to sort and also print to the screen the unsorted array, and this is how we can do it. Okay, using the system.printout to show us if uh, the arrays we're sorting on this line here, if it worked out. First, we have to run this on the screen. We minimize it, scrap, and pull it up a bit. Yeah, I hope you can see this. Initially, we're beginning with 10, but right now we're beginning with 1, 5, 9, 10, which is way different from 10, 5, 1, 9. Okay, so this is how we sort in case you want to sort your arrays, your unsorted arrays, and you want to print them in a particular order. That's how you do it. Okay. Um, Now, in case let's say you want to do, I don't know, searching, maybe binary search. You can say binary search. But binary search only works with sorted arrays. Yeah. In case you want to use, let's say, binary search, you have to use it on sorted arrays. So in this case, we can have int key, maybe equal to 2. I'll terminate. Okay, and then maybe below here we have something like int index. Then here arrays dot binary, arrays dot binary search. Okay, because you have to access the binary search since it's the one you're going to be looking at, and it starts with a small b and then a capital S. Okay, maybe in here we can pass in our unsorted arrays. Here pass in unsorted arrays. Sorted arrays, comma, and then you pass in the key. Okay, terminate. Now after this, we can print out, copy this. So after this, you're going to print out and you're going to pass in index of, okay. Then you pass in the key, concatenate it with the key, because this key is our index, okay. And then just continue with another string. In here we can pass, let me space it a bit, okay. Then we concatenate it with the index. Okay, now if you are to run this, on unsorted arrays, that's what it you see. Let me minimize it here, you see. So here we get we get -2, we get -2. Okay, so anyway, these are the small operations we can run on arrays. We can access, we can do array declarations and assignment, we can modify arrays, uh, loop through arrays, also sorting arrays, okay, or even carrying out binary search. Yeah, and yeah, I think these are just the small operations we can do with arrays. Okay, yeah, okay. Thank you very much. That's all.